perhaps clashing where they don't
Hey,
match,
what's good,
or you sit
Trey?
down like a conscious and aware and articulate couple and start to negotiate what your joint responsibilities are going to be. And so that would be, well, who's responsible for the meals and when, and what are you going to eat, and who's going to get groceries, and who's going to pay the bills, and who's going to do which part of what household chores there are to do, and how is that going to be laid out fair. And so you should get to know the person that you're with well enough so that you can start discussing the real practical issues of life and determine whether or not you're capable of negotiating that. Unless you've really made a commitment to someone, like a lifetime commitment, and that's a serious commitment, one that you're not going to back out of. You're not going to take the relationship with the seriousness that's necessary to make it of the highest possible quality and sustainability across the course of your life. And it's really important that it is of that high quality and sustainability, because the relationship, especially when it starts to produce children, is a machine, let's say, a machine that you jointly operate that adds immensely to the quality of your life and the depth of your life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He is. This is the motivation, boy. We try to get that motivation in, you know.
I mean, you have the rope and strand of your life, and your partner has the strands and the rope of his or her life, and then those are tied together to make a stronger rope, and then that unites you across time, and then you undertake massive adventures together. And some of that is the establishment of a household and the establishment of joint careers and the maintenance of each other's mental and physical health and the maintenance of a high quality sexual life and all of that. Very, very challenging to do all of that. And then the joint production and care of children, which, don't be thinking that you can't organize your life when you have children. The thing about modern people is that they're terrified of children. And it's because they regard children as if they're miniature tyrants. They can be, of course, because anyone will tyrannize over you if you allow them to. Perhaps not anyone, but virtually anyone. Why not regulate your children's behavior? I wrote a chapter in my new book called Don't Let Your Children Do Anything That Makes You Dislike Them. And that's like really serious advice. It's like, if you allow your children to conduct themselves around you in a manner that makes you dislike them, if you're paying attention to the shadow side of yourself that can be aggressive and destructive, then having children is going to mess up your life. But you don't have to do that. You actually have a tremendous amount of control over the quality of your relationship with your children, and also the manner in which you choose to disperse your time. And I mean, don't be afraid of children, man. You're the adult, for God's sake. You've got the upper hand, and if you have a partner you can rely on, well then, you can both decide how it is that you're going to run your household so that you're actually thrilled to death that you have kids and that you have a life. Well, so I have a good marriage, thank God for that, and that's partly due to the outstanding moral quality of my wife, who I'm also extraordinarily attracted to. We've built a life together, and we've had kids together, and we're happy with our kids, and we had plenty of struggle with our kids, because one of our children, my daughter, had serious health problems, which she seems to have managed to resolve, partly as a consequence of her own brilliance. But we've set ourselves up now so that our children are respectable and mature young adults, so thank God for that. And they've got partners who we both really like, and they're going to have children, and well, hooray, that means that this next part of my life is going to be something that I can advance into with a fair bit of hope. The shackle together is more like it's such a, I may have even said that, but it's such a cynical way of looking at it. It's more like what you've produced is an unbreakable bond between two beings, and that makes both of them better in every way if it's based. It's more like what you've produced is an unbreakable bond between two beings, and that makes both of them better in every way if it's a relationship that's based on trust and genuine communication. That's a very difficult thing to attain, because you have to be willing to tell the truth, and the truth is generally a horrible thing. I mean, it's easy to tell truth when everyone wants to hear what you have to say, but it's very difficult to tell the truth when no one wants to hear it, least of all yourself. You're not coming clean about old lies, generally, if that will ruin lives. And I don't think you forgive yourself precisely and focus on living truthfully in the future. You focus on living truthfully in the future, and perhaps you don't forgive yourself exactly. That doesn't mean you pound yourself into the ground with guilt. But if you have done things in the past that were reprehensible and that would destroy lives if were brought to light, then you should, I think that generally speaking, you should do everything you can to limit the spread of damage as you attempt to move truthfully into the future. You should get to know someone long enough to know that you two can tell the truth with each other, communicate, and negotiate, because the most important part of a relationship is the fact that you can tell each other the truth and negotiate.
What's up? Welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. Glad y'all can be up in here with your boy for this Friday, Fun Fridays. Alright, I ain't gonna waste y'all time too long. I'm gonna get straight into the motivation for today. Clinical trials. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, what's up, L? All right, y'all. Let's get our topic started for the day. Dang, I can't slide my little screen over. All right, let me pause that. I'm gonna call you when I'm done working, okay, L? All right, I love you. Feel better, okay? All right. All right, today we are exploring possibility. Exploring possibilities. Let's see what we got. We ain't got 20 minutes. Power of exploring before limits. Well, we got 8 minutes. They ain't gonna hurt me too bad. I do not own the rights to this TED Talk. Mm, you right about that. Right. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. I feel you, young man. Right. I hope y'all can hear him. I hope y'all can hear him. Right. Right. Large. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. Mm. Mm-hmm. Come on, commercials. Right. Then that. Yes. Already did. Right. Mm. Mm. What you gonna go do? Mm-hmm. I like that last piece. Sometimes you got to get that enthusiastic private a chance to hold the wheel so you can really see what's possible. All right, let's see what else they got for us. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What was that other side about? Possibility. Okay. Mm. Well, you about to hear what I think about it, Dave. So I'm gonna take this. This was a 2 minute video. I'm sorry if it was low. I'm sorry if it seemed uninteresting to you, but it was to me. Just from his picture, just looking at his picture. Let me get my music down so y'all can hear me. Just looking at his picture right here. If you are with a group of people and you focus on that down into that one thing on purpose, you can see how that would automatically produce outcome that not necessarily is better than if you thought about it on your own, because the better is subjective in that point, like as in it's only yours, but you would get something that can appeal to more than just you from you all focusing in on that one thing. Now you get more possibilities from you all focusing outward on your own individual thoughts of anything. And it may be about what we're thinking about, but your outward thinking, independently whether we in the room or not, or your outward thinking gives you a little bit more possibility on that one thing, or a little bit more possibility. I like that. That 2 minute video, I can be reminded on how focus shifts outward and inward. All right, let's go again. See what you got. I'm gonna go to the end of this. Let's see what he's talking about. All right, we ain't watching no more of that. Thought they was about to be talking about something different. I saw the black dude. Sorry, y'all. We're gonna go to the end of this one too. Yes, sir. All right. What is important in life? Right. Ha ha. Hmm. Yes. Hmm. With it. Yes, sir. Hmm. Mm. 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 That's what's up. Choose your struggles wisely. Let's have some fun. This should be fun. he's, he's a big unit. Why? Why y'all do that? Why y'all do that, man, like that? Ooh. What? Yo, I'm saving this. Bruh. Oh no, I knew that was possible. I knew that was possible. He hit the backboard. So I went and played ball the other day, and while I was out there, I was on a fast break, and I went up. I promise you, I was in the air for forever. It was like, and dude watched me as soon as I took. As soon as I took off, dude was like, "Dang!" And it looked just like this, except I wasn't going for a block, but I knew that was possible. We be jumping high, man. We be jumping real high. All right, let's go. Look at him. Look how high he jumped. Look at that. Yo. Bruh. I'm sorry, but that's crazy to me. Hello? He had to jump over this dude. Jeez. Did you jump off a trampoline? Jeez. If you ever jumped on a trampoline, you know how when you get that bounce, that extra bounce. All right, I'm done with that, with the basketball ones. That was crazy though. Let me see. Y'all heard that? Do the hard part first in life, and you'll for surely win. This is dying. I'm gonna charge it. This has been another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. This is DGTA TV. Tried to say it all real fast. I'm out of here. I'm gonna see y'all next week. Mindful Mondays. Peace.
Team Racing got a remake in 2019, players were shocked to hear this. And personally, I love what the devs did with the Zelda series. In Link to the Past, there was a glitch with the net item, letting you deflect Aghanim's magic straight back at him without using the Master Sword. Instead of being all strict about it, Nintendo decided it was awesome and made it one of the series' longest running jokes. In Ocarina of Time, the empty bottles can deflect Ganon's magic. In Twilight Princess, the fishing rod causes Ganondorf to zone out. And even Skyward Sword
this video and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.
Chest, feet, and even down there. That's
All right, y'all. We motivated enough. On your why. All right, let's see. Take a trip through your mind. Let's see what's up. This should be interesting.
Throughout our lives, we spend a lot of time and even more money engineering pleasant experiences. We book airline tickets, visit beaches, admire glaciers, say hello to penguins, watch elephants drinking, and so on. In all this, the emphasis is almost always on the experience itself, which lasts a certain amount of time and then is over. the idea of making a big deal of revisiting an experience in memory sounds a little strange or simply sad. We're not assiduous or devoted cultivators of our past experiences. We shove all the nice things that have happened to us at the back of the cupboard of our minds and don't particularly expect to see them ever again. They happen and then we're done with them. They do sometimes come back to us unbidden. We're maybe on a boring train ride to work and suddenly an image of a beach at dusk comes to life. Or while we're having a bath, we remember climbing a flower-covered mountain with a friend a decade before. But little attention tends to get paid to such moments. We don't engineer regular encounters with them. We may feel we have to dismiss them as daydreaming or thinking about nothing. But what if we were to alter the hierarchy of prestige a little and argue that regular immersion in our memories is a critical part of what can sustain and console us, and not least, is perhaps the cheapest and most flexible form of entertainment? We should learn regularly to travel around our minds and think it almost as prestigious to sit at home and reflect on a trip we once took to an island as to trek to this island encased in our cumbersome bodies. In our neglect of our memories, we are spoilt children who squeeze only a portion of the pleasure from our experiences and then toss them aside to seek new thrills. Part of why we feel the need for so many new experiences may simply be that we're so bad at absorbing the ones we've had. To help us focus more on our memories, we need nothing technical. We certainly don't need a camera. There is a camera in our minds already, and it's always on. It takes everything we've ever seen. Huge chunks of experience are still there in our heads, intact and vivid, just waiting for us to ask ourselves leading questions like, where did we go after we landed? Or what was the first breakfast like? When we can't sleep, when there's no Wi-Fi, we should always think of going on memory journeys. Our experiences have